Round 3 of the 2017-2018 Asian Le Mans Series is well underway, and we're kicking it off right here with the qualifying sessions today. I am Nadia Nash. Thank you so much for joining us, and I'm speaking to you live from Buriram International Circuit here in Thailand. The weather is wonderful here today. It's a great day to be out on the track, and the teams have been busy with their practice runs, which will prove to be very important in this round, especially because it's going to be a 6-hour race. It's going to be the first of the series instead of the usual 4 that we've been seeing in the previous round. So yes, expect a longer race, but of course a more interesting one. It's going to be a whole set of different tactics and strategies that will come into play today and tomorrow. Now, all the teams will be eyeing on pole position as we start off the qualifying sessions with the LMP2 and LMP3 class, and then followed by the qualifying session for the GT class. So I'm not alone. I'm also joined by Jeevan Selvanathan and Graham Goodwin, our commentators. So boys, how are things looking from up there?
Things are looking great from up here, Nadia. Thanks for that. And look, this is a wonderful shot of the Buriram International Circuit. My name is Jeevan Selvanathan. Sitting next to me, as has been the case for the last 2 rounds, is the editor-in-chief of dailysportscar.com and the voice of Radio Le Mans, Graham Goodwin. Graham, what a great circuit we're at.
Well, my first time here, and it's delightful to be here in Thailand at the Buriram International Circuit, one of the newest Class 1 circuits on the planet. It sees a range of international championships visited here, including the Japanese Super GT Championship, MotoGP as well. Fantastic circuit, fantastic facility, and we're going to have a massive crowd tomorrow for Children's Day here in the Kingdom of Thailand. That's
right. It's going to be a very, very special day indeed. A lot of people are expected to turn up, and that has been the case for all these other events that have happened up here. But this is a beautiful circuit, as you can just see. Look, this is looking to turn 3 right now. It's a very flat circuit, isn't it?
Very flat, apart from a couple of turns, turn 1 in particular, which has got a bank to it. But it does race very well indeed, as we've seen with some of the support races already, Jeevan, this afternoon. We're going to see, I think, some real wheel-to-wheel action.
Well, we've got a lot of teams that have been contesting the championship so far. Jackie Chan DC Racing, of course, BBT as well. And ARC Bratislava is another one of the teams that has been putting in a lot of good performances in the first 2 races. And we're going to go down to the pits right now, where Nadia is with the owner of the ARC Bratislava team, Miro Konopka. Let's hear what he has to say.
Gustavo Joachim will be going in the car, right? But most importantly, it is going to be a 6-hour race instead of the normal 4, right? So is there going to be a difference in terms of strategy and whatnot?
Of course, it's 50% more, and need to be more strategy, more situation in the race. And I like endurance races. I like 24 hours, 12 hours. I run a lot of in my life, and that's I like. I think that strategy will be another, and also what will be which weather. Consumption is very important for 6 hours, and lucky.
It's good that you like it because you're used to 12 hours, 24 hours, so 6 hours is nothing, right? So you've got a new driver with you, Gustavo Joachim. So how is he fitting in with the whole group?
Yeah, Gustavo is a perfect professional driver. He ran a lot of time in WEC, in European Le Mans, American Le Mans, IMSA races, and that's we need some good driver, because our mate Rick is a Lamborghini factory driver and running 24-hour Dubai in the same term. That is not here, and Gustavo is really very good, and we will see.
So speaking of Gustavo, and then back to you, you are a gentleman driver yourself. It's going to be 6 hours. Is there going to be any kind of difference in preparation for yourself?
Of course, very important. I need money, and another driver needs very good physical condition, and I must prepare if I made more money.
Right, you heard it from the man himself. That was Miro Konopka, ARC Bratislava. Back to you guys.
Thanks for that, Nadia. Graham, what can you say about Miro Konopka? What a character.
He is a true Slovakian superstar. It's a multinational effort, ARC Bratislava. Slovakian, of course, Miro, with Latvian driver Konstantis Kalko, Colombian driver this time around Gustavo Joachim. And that's what has been the hallmark of the Asian Le Mans Series this season. It's been strength in depth, it's been quality in depth, and I think they're going to play a real part in this race tomorrow over that 6-hour distance. The first, of course, for the Asia Le Mans Series, and also, I believe, I'm pretty certain, the longest ACO rules race for an LMP3 cars ever.
Well, it is, of course, the first time there's going to be a 6-hour race for the Asian Le Mans Series, what a circuit to have it on as well. The Buriram International Circuit is really beautiful. Let's get on board now with the KCMG car driven by Louis Pret, the number 18 car, and have a look at this circuit from the onboard.
Hi, my name is Louis Pret. We're here in Buriram Circuit, here driving for KCMG in an LMP3. Here we arrive in the first corner in fourth gear, down to third, very bumpy ripple strip, out wide, a bit too wide, a long straight, down to T3, in fifth gear, around 240 kilometers per hour, very hard brake, bumpy zone, down to second gear, here I did in first but mistake, back on the gas early, over the ripple strip. Here again, a very, very long straight to T4. One of the hardest turns in the circuit, flat out. Here we're having T5, bumpy again, down to second gear. Back on gas, little lift, and this one is flat out. Very hard to get a perfect line here. This is my favorite part of the circuit. Down to third gear, gas, very tricky corners this one where you can lose a rear very easily. Back on gas, third, fourth, and we're gonna arrive to the last corner of the circuit where it's very easy to go wide at the exit, where we take it in second gear. Very bumpy apex here. Hope you guys enjoyed the lap with me around Buriram Circuit. Hope you guys enjoyed the race, and good luck to everyone.
Well, how about that? That was a fantastic look at the Buriram International Circuit. And as we saw there from that onboard from the KCMG car, Graham, a lot of tricky corners. I would say of the 12 corners that are coming up, this is the one, turn 12, that is going to cause a lot of problems.
Turn 12, turn 3, where there's that opportunity for a heavy braking undertake, if you like. And also turn 7 has been tricky throughout free practice. We've seen a couple of cars come, go adrift there, but that's a car, the KCMG car. They need a good result after failing to finish at Fuji in such a short season, just 4 races. Losing a score is a bad thing. They need to actually be back on the top step of the podium to maintain their challenge.
Well, now having a look at the whole track, that's 4.54 kilometers, but into 3 sectors, each roughly 1.2, 1.6 and 1.6 kilometers. Turns, 12 turns in the end, 7 rights and 5 lefts. And as you can see, a really fast stretch right at the beginning from turns 1 to 4. Then it gets a little bit twisty from 4 to 8. And then 9, 10, 11 and 12, that's actually deceptively fast. It
is indeed. We've already had a couple of cars going off circuit and having to have to sort with repairs in the first 3 practice sessions. Both Algarve Pro and the Viper Nisa racing team requiring repair, but they ready, willing and able to join the track for the qualifying session, which is just about to get underway.
Well, we were just in the car with Louis Pret from the KCMG team, and now we're going to have a word with him. Nadia is in the pits with Louis Pret. Let's hear from him.
We've got Louis Pret with us. So it was your first time on this circuit in Buriram. What did you think of it?
Honestly, it's a really nice circuit. It's very, very fast. A lot of G-force. It's a lot different compared to Too High, where it's a lot of hard braking zone and stuff like this. So honestly, I really like this track.
Right, good. Now, we can see at the back of us, someone is in the car for qualifying. Can you tell us a bit about that?
Josh is in the car. He's been fastest all weekend, so there's no reason why he shouldn't be in the car. Let's hope he continues this way and pole it. And we'll see how it goes, and be careful.
All right, we've got to make way for the car. So we have Josh Burden in the car, as Louis Pret was saying just now. He has been the fastest this weekend. We will see him doing the qualifying. So, Luis, maybe you can tell us what's going on in Josh's head right now. You will know.
Well, I think he knows what to do, and we looked at data just before again, and for me, he has no pressure, and he'll do what he knows how to do and pole it for sure.
His teammate is confident. All the best to you and to the whole team. Back to Jeevan and Graham. Thanks.
You can see you see the confusion in the eyes. They're being challenged to think about what might be in the mind of a racing driver. That's a scary place to be, I can tell you. But we're about to get underway with the first of the qualifying sessions. This will be for the P2 and P3 cars together on track. It is 5 of each, 5 apiece in each of those classes for the forthcoming fun on track.
Now, that is a tricky situation. You mentioned it just before that KCMG, especially, we just saw Josh Byrne getting out on there. As we look at the temperature on the track, 26 degrees. It has actually been a little bit colder this morning, but it's good to see that that track temperature is coming up. Wind 23 kilometers, humidity 43%. Wind going to make a big difference with the aeros around here?
I don't think at that kind of level. Certainly, we were expecting it to be far, far warmer throughout the week. It's been actually quite cold in the days leading up to the weekend. Looking like we're going to get brighter conditions and higher temperatures for the race tomorrow. Not particularly good news, of course, for the guys in these closed cars, particularly if the humidity comes up with that temperature. Let's wait and see what we get out of this session.
Right, and there are a lot of other teams, of course, in the GT class is also going to be keenly contested. We are now going down to the pits where Nadia is talking to a member of the Tianqi racing team, Massimiliano Visa.
Yes, we do have Maximiliano with us, and as you have told me just now, this is not going to be your first time on this circuit, but just tell us how you're feeling.
We are feeling good. I mean, our race pace is very strong, very competitive. We are struggling a bit for the flying lap.
Okay.
I mean, we cannot get the best performance from the new tires, but we are working on it, and we are very confident for the race.
Right. But what about qualifying? So that little problem with the tires and all that, is that going to be fixed before or after qualifying?
We are still trying something because we cannot reach the working temperature for the tires, and which affect our performance a little bit. We are at least 0.5, 0.6 far from the quickest car.
Right. I hope everything works out for you tomorrow. All the best. You are qualifying, right?
Thank you. Yeah.
Okay, all the best. So that was it from Maxi Weezer. Back to you guys.
A lot for that, Nadia. Now, as I was just continuing about the KCMG, and of course this applies to Tianqi as well, both those teams in the LMP3 and GT class have a lot to do this weekend. KCMG especially, they have undoubtedly or debatably been possibly the fastest car in the LMP3 class, but unfortunately they got a DNF in Fuji, which means they are trailing. Guy Cosmo and Patrick Byrne came up with the win there for Jackie Chan DC Racing.
Absolutely, a drivetrain failure in Japan that's cost them potentially 25 points, and they've got all that to make up now. What the good news though is that we've seen remarkably close times in both free practice sessions in two of the classes. What do I mean by that? I mean the top two cars overall registered identical times in free practice 2 to the 1,000th, and in free practice 1, the second and third place GT cars registered identical times as well. It literally can't get any closer than that.
It is literally unbelievable stuff. And what Graham is saying is 1:25.459 was the result of free practice 1. Now, the lap record that is for Buriram International Circuit was set in 2014. That was a 1:25.441. So these guys are 0.04 of a second off. But as you said, Pippo Durrani, BBT, and Jackie Chan DC Racing both exactly on the money down to the 100th of a second.
I think we'll see that lap record go because things have moved on even in the last 2 years as the pit lane is now open. The number 7 Jackie Chan DC Racing by Jota Car is the first away. And followed by Viper Nisa in the 65 Ligier and the BBT car.
Right, now as you can see, all of these cars streaming out Now, one of the things that has to be understood is that it may be a 6-hour race, it may be the first extended it's literally history in the making, but it's still 15 minutes for each of these classes. Well, both of the LMP2 and LMP3, and then 15 minutes for the GT as well.
So what we'll see here is a warming up lap, perhaps another bit of a go to actually get more heat into these tyres. The teams all get an additional set of tyres for the weekend because of that additional 2 hours running time in the race tomorrow. But I think we're going to see them run as long and as hard as they possibly can without making tyre changes.
Now there is the ARC Bratislava car. Now that car and that team has been doing very well. They were in Zhuhai, the opening round of the Asian Le Mans Series 2017-2018 season. They were 4th in qualifying. They got a 3rd place after that, 6th in qualifying in Fuji, but they still came in and made the podium after that. So very good performance from them.
Racy stuff out there at the moment from the number 33 car. That is 37 car rather, in the hands of Pipo Derani. He wanted to be out on track ahead of the 7 Jackie Chan DC racing car and is now, having had to force his way through a little. As for the drivers out on track at the moment, in the number 1 Win Motorsport LMP3 car, Richard Bradley aboard the orange and powder blue coloured car. The number 4 ARC Bratislava Ligier, as Jivan was saying a little earlier, that is in the hands of Gustavo Yakiman. Jazuan Jafar, and we'll talk about this crew as we go through the weekend. Aboard the number 7 Jackie Chan DC Racing by Jota car. The number 8 in the hands of Thomas Laurent, the sister car of course. Viper Nisa Racing in the hands of returning champion LMP3 for this race only, Nigel Moore. I'll let you know about that too. Another new name in the championship leading number 6 car, bolstering the squad there, is Gabriel Aubry. Ataduk Young is aboard the 25 one-coin backed Algarve Pro racing car.
And those are all the cars out on track right now. And I can tell you immediately that it's Thomas Laurent. Unsurprisingly, you could say there's already set the fastest sector 1 time of 21 seconds. Right now, these cars are lapping about 1:32, of course. With this 15-minute window, essentially, you are going to get, with a 2-minute lap, 7 on your best day. Get 7 laps out of it, so you're really looking at about 3 or 4 fast laps.
It's generally speaking, I think what we're going to see is they're matching having a couple of good old goes at this, perhaps then lifting off, maybe even pitting the car, maybe even changing tyres to keep the wear even on 2 separate sets. We'll wait and see what the strategy is going to be, and that is going to be one of the keys for tomorrow as well. One of the keys for this race is going to be strategy. How do you pan this out? Do you keep the guys in for a full 2-hour stint? Do you actually swap them around? And that's going to be determined, I think, a lot by what the temperatures are going to be turning out tomorrow. The weather forecasts have not been anywhere close to correct this week.
Absolutely. Now remember, the last round, of course, was in the freezing conditions of Fuji, so this is a completely different situation now up in here in Buriram. Of course, that was a heavily elevated track as well, so faster speeds, faster sectors. This is going to help this car here, the number 37 BBT, Pipo Derani behind the wheel of that. He has proved to be very fast indeed. BBT were 3rd in qualifying at Zhuhai. They, of course, got the pole in Fuji as well. They got a good 2nd place. They are currently the team that are pushing the Jackie Chan DC Racing team.
Brazilian Pipo Derani has put in the fastest time of the session. His first flying lap, a 1:29.531. That's a full second ahead of Thomas Laurent's best, but Thomas had some traffic to deal with. That's why Pipo wanted to be ahead of the number 7. He wanted the clear track that he knew lie ahead, so he needed to actually make that move. It was a little bit of elbows, contact, but he made it plain in no uncertain terms. That's where he wanted to be. Now we've got Thomas Laurent on track behind him in clear air, and we're going to be seeing, I think now, just how the pace compares between the two. They've been mighty close on pace through their last couple of races.
They have been having an absolutely massive battle. Just today, we could tell you, we were both Graham and myself watching free practice this morning. As Graham pointed out, they matched each other literally down to 100th of a second. It was actually Pipo that came in.
1,000th of a second.
The 1,000th of a second. Pipo came in with the lap. And just remember, if you cast your minds back to Fuji, in this very qualifying session for Fuji, it was the last lap of that session where Pipo took the pole.
So both cars improve on that time around. It's a new fastest lap of the session, again to Pipo Derani at 1:26.798, but the gap has closed from a full second down to under half a second. So Thomas Laurent is getting his eye in here. Third, by the way, on track at the moment in timing and scoring is Jazeman Jaafar in the second of the Jackie Chan DC Racing cars. He's a further 2.5 seconds back, though, with Josh Burton actually now grabbing third overall in the session. So the LMP3 car, the number 18, third quickest overall ahead of 3 LMP2 cars. So Josh Burton looking to, well, pick up where he left off over the last couple of races. He has been the form man in this LMP3 car.
Absolutely. We were saying that earlier on as well about how he has essentially, or like even arguably, been the fastest man in the LMP3s, and he likes to be sandwiched between LMP2 cars. I think this is the third race in a row. He loves doing it.
A little bit further down, timing and scoring, second quickest in the LMP3 class. Well, it was for a moment the number 65 Hyperniza Racing car, but I have to talk about another one now, because Jackie Chan DC Racing goes second in LMP3. Now Win Motorsport do with Richard Bradley, so it's changing all the time for fifth position, second fastest in the LMP3 class. Richard Bradley, a 130.191, has got about a half a second to make up to get onto terms with Josh Burton, but behind that it's mighty close. This is going to be a tight qualifying session.
Well, I can tell you that Pippo Durrani just keeps getting faster and faster. He's now put in the best time for Sector 2 and Sector 3. That's the last half of the track. And he's now at 1:26.260. But you're right, Thomas Laurent in that Orica 05 Nissan is just on his tail, 1:26.604. They're already back at the
So a full second became 5/10 of a second, becomes 3/10 of a second. Thomas Laurent is reeling in the gap, but has still not got the quickest lap of this session. And of course the clock is ticking down. It's we're almost halfway through the session already. Gustavo Jacobin meanwhile makes it an LMP2 1-2-3-4 now, putting the number 4 ARC Bratislava car up into fourth position. So 1:26.2 plays 1:26.6 for the top two. Then it's 1:27.4 as Jazeman Jaafar puts in a far more competitive lap, and he's just fending off the best efforts so far of ARC Bratislava's Gustavo Jacobin.
And this, of course, the first race for Gustavo, very experienced, and good to see him up in the 1:27. So we've got 2 cars on 1:26, 2 cars on 1:27. Remember that Jazeman Jaafar also is now, there's a lot of stories that you're going to be hearing from Graham and myself over the space of this weekend, which we'll get to during race time, because literally we haven't got the time. We're 7 minutes left with the qualifying session. We really should concentrate on this, but right now is turning into, there's a couple of new names, and then Nigel Moore, of course, in the Hyperniza Racing, he's putting in a good lap as well. Well.
Another fastest lap from Pippo Durrani, but the gap now is under 1/10 of a second. It's 1:26.052 to the Brazilian aboard the number 37 BBT Ligier. The Orica, the number 8 car, as Thomas Laurent, is a 1:26.113. This is going to go right down to the wire, and you know what? I doubt there's going to be a cigarette paper between the two of them.
Well, there is David Cheng, of course, just watching. He's been very happy with the performance of all 3 of his drivers. Of course, but Thomas Laurent has really been setting the bar up, and now he's having this personal duel with Pippo Durrani. I don't know, Graham, if they know that this is qualifying or this is race.
Look at this now on the timing and scoring. This is the man on the charge at the moment. Fastest first sector of the session went last time to Pippo Durrani. This time it goes to Thomas Laurent. He's got purple in the second sector as well. Durrani, I think, may well lose his provisional pole position here if Thomas Laurent can keep up this momentum through the third sector to complete the lap. 1:26.052 is the current target for the young Frenchman.
Well, of course, this morning, just a couple of hours ago, he did put in a 1:25.825, so he's no stranger to hit to a sub 1:26. But yes, he's done it again, 1:25.875.
But watch Laurent behind. It's 1:25.875, and he goes to the top. Thomas Laurent goes to the top with a 1:25.597. He's been hunting him down through this session. It has come down and down and down in terms of not just the time, but the gap to the Brazilian ahead. He's now taken the advantage. Now what can Pippo Durrani, a very class act, pull out of the fire? The answer at the moment in Sector 1 is not enough, because Laurent is going quicker again. It's a green sector, so a faster sector than he's done before for the Brazilian. It's a purple sector, fastest sector of the session for the Frenchman.
And you know for a fact, with that clear air that Graham was talking about beforehand, no traffic to deal with, that both of these guys are going to have a good last 5 minutes of this qualifying session for LMP2 and LMP3. Of course, still in the LMP3 class, KCMG, Josh Burton leading the way there. And I think think a good word for Jasmine Jafar as well. Of course, as all Malaysian team mates in that Jackie Chan DC racing car at number 7, and he's at 126, so he's just a second behind these top 2. But you're right, Thomas Laurent just keeps getting faster and faster. Slowed down a little bit for sector 2 there, but still just having the edge. You can see all the mechanics in the Jackie Chan DC racing pit watching that screen eagerly. They know how important it's going to be, just even psychologically, for Thomas Laurent to come out on top.
So 125.597, no improvement this time, but it's within a tenth of his previous best time. The gap then still stays at around a quarter of a second. It's 125.597 plays 125.875. Jasmine Jafar, as you were saying there, Jivan, on a 126.0, not that far behind, just 2/10 back from Durrani. So a Jackie Chan DC Racing 1-2 at the moment looks just as likely as the potential for BBT to snatch this one back. 7/10 further back, meanwhile, is Gustavo Jackerman, before we get back down to Josh Burden, 5th fastest overall and leading the LMP3 charge, ahead of now the number 6 Jackie Chan DC racing car, then the Vipanisa racing car. So Wim Motorsport have gone from 1st to 4th.
So Josh Burton currently leading the LMP3 class in the KCMG number 18. Gabriel Aubry, of course, another young Frenchman that has been drawn into the Jackie Chan DC racing team.
Just going through, shot there was the number 18 car from KCMG. There she comes down into turn 1. It's another impressive qualifying performance from Josh Burton.
Well, he's just been so fast over the last 2 rounds as well, and it was really, it was so far into the race in Fuji that car let him down. Reliability, this is what endurance racing is all about, so you really can't point a finger at that. In terms of his driving skill, he has definitely hit the mark, and with an LMP3 car has essentially been racing the P2s.
Absolutely, and he's had a season in the FRD LMP3 series in China aboard this car. That really shows there's something about the package in LMP3 for these teams, and particularly for these drivers, that just takes some time to unlock the potential.
Right.
And we're seeing that time and time and time again. And you know, in that vein, I'm sure when we see into next season teams like brand new team here, Vipanisa Racing this year, we're going to see improved form as the team unlock the potential of the package there. Here's a man that's already managed that feat, Josh Burton, coming round now, and to complete his latest lap. It was a 128.874 last time around.
Well, he's really pushing that car. Just while you were going through that, he just looked a little bit shaky through turns 9 and 10, looked a little bit wobbly, but he's back on course now.
And he's actually just taken a further 10th out of that. We've got a new 2nd place overall in qualifying, and it has done what we said we thought it might, Jivan. It's a 1-2 now for Jackie Chan DC Racing. Jasmine Jafar goes through with a 125.713.
Faster and faster.
And he's dropped just over a 10th away from Thomas Laurent. This is not done yet. Well, it could go to any of the top 3 on the form we're seeing at the moment here. Between the 3 of them, under 3/10 of a second. Think about that for a moment. 3/10 of a second, the gap between the top 3 cars here. As Pipa Durrani responds, it's now 0.116 of a second between the top 3. But back up into 2nd place goes Pipa Durrani with a 125.633, 36 thousandths of a second.
You knew he was going to come up into this one.
Absolutely.
He had to. That's what he does. That's what he did in Fuji as well. Now the question is whether in these final, we're down into under 2 minutes for this qualifying session for the LMP2s and LMP3s. The question is whether Pippo is going to do it again and pip Thomas Laurent right on the last lap.
I wouldn't put all the money I've got in my pocket against that, I have to tell you.
Thomas, of course, going very, very fast indeed. So 126.263 is, as Graham pointed out, for the LMP2s as we look at Josh Bird in the KCMG. Again, putting in a good time. And don't forget, Nigel Moore, of course, the champion from LMP3 in previous season. He is in the pits right now.
That's a car that has been in trouble earlier in the session. Oddly enough, it had a big off at turn 7 in free practice, exactly where Nigel's car from last season actually destroyed itself in an accident that required a replacement car for that team to maintain their challenge. Meantime, we've got now it's Algar Pro Racing at a Dirk de Jong has made a big improvement up from the bottom of the field, now up into 6th place. Only Josh Burton between him now and the remainder of the LMP2 field. That's the other car, by the way, that was in trouble in free practice. I think Kutsumaitis having substantial incidents at turn 5, or on the exit of turn 5, running wide and while turning sharp left into the barrier. But mainly superficial damage, the team getting around that damage very quickly indeed. They're very smart looking number 25 car.
Now there is,
as I say,
just saying about the Algarve Pro Racing, well that looks like they're going to have a bit of problem there because the session is now over. Of course, there you go. You can see the checkered flag to finish the qualifying session, and it looks like there has been a couple of incidents that race control has, I can tell you now, has touched on, mainly track limits, as you can imagine, with these cars trying to go as fast as possible, possibly running a bit wide on some of these faster corners, and it looks like Win Motorsports' Richard Bradley is actually being, one of his laps has been deleted for track limits at turn 1, coming off the straight, and also Gustavo Yakiman.
Jasmine Jafar as well has been pinged for track limits, which means there'll be no improvement on the final lap for the number 7 car. It looks from the sector times we're looking at that we're not going to see significant improvements. It looks to me like it's going to be Thomas Laurent on pole position for the 6 hours. Remember, 6 hours of Buriram ahead of Pipo Derani. That was some qualifying session between these guys.
Absolutely fantastic stuff, and you know, it was great to see them just basically pick up from the
I was nearly made a lie. Sorry to interrupt you. I was nearly made a lie there, because right at the end of that lap, from nowhere, Pipo Derani picked up an improved lap time. 9 thousandths of a second is the gap for pole position. He doesn't make it, but Thomas Laurent, who bailed out of that lap, nearly lost the pole position right at the death of the session. 9 thousandths of a second was the gap. 1:25.597 then is the pole position time for the Jackie Chan DC Racing by Jota Orica 05 Nissan of Thomas Laurent. Pipo Derani pushed as hard as he possibly could for the honour of Team BBT, and Ligier with the Nissan-powered 37 car. That was a 1:25.606, and the third place car in that session, Jackie Chan DC Racing's second car, the number 7 of Jasmine Jafar, a 1:25.713. I think those lap times sound very similar. The gap between all three of them, 0.116 of a second, but 9 thousandths between the top two. LMP3, meanwhile, Jivan.
Well, KCMG, of course, as expected, Josh Burton with another lightning qualifying session has come through in top spot there in that class, of course, with a 1:28.751. It's pretty fast for him anyway. And Gabriel Aubry also has come through in his Ligier with a 1:29.613. So some good results there in the LMP3 as well. It looks like it's going to be close now, of course, because, as you said, the first extended race, a lot of different strategies. You touched on that earlier. For the LMP3 cars especially, this is going to be a big challenge for them, because not many LMP3 races are actually 6 hours.
Very, very few. I can only think of a couple that have run to that kind of length. We've had LMP3 cars running in the odd non-ACO sanctioned 24-hour race, and we've had the Golf 12 hours that does run to ACO LMP3 rules. That is actually not a 12-hour race, it's 2 6-hour races. And we should say, by the way, that a result of an incident in that race, get well soon to our good friend James Winslow. It's home in Australia at the moment, so having taken a very nasty knock after a brake failure in a car that he was racing to some good effect at that point over in Abu Dhabi. So do get well soon, James. We hope to see you back as soon as possible. But, you know, 6 hours for these cars is not to say they're not capable of them. They just don't usually do it. So it's going to be interesting to see whether or not we do see any factors actually emerging there.
Well, they're going to be new. There are a couple of extra regulations, I should say, that have been put in place for this extended 6 hours. It is literally endurance. That is what the word is about, and including extra pit stops and, as you said, tyres as well. But it's these three teams, the Jackie Chan DC Racing Team, BBT and ARC Bratislava, that have been contesting these first 3 rounds. And it's no surprise for Jackie Chan, of course, they had a 1-2 in qualifying in Zhuhai, a second and a third in Fuji as well. And that's exactly what they've done. They've done a first and a third here for the LMP2 class, which is absolutely amazing for them. Now, with BBT, of course, third qualifying and the pole as well. Pipo would have wanted the pole. Well, before we get to that, let's talk to the man that just got pole position, Jackie Chan DC Racing's Thomas Laurent. He's down in the pits with Nadia. Let's hear what he has to say about that session.
Yes, the fastest man on the track today, Thomas Laurent with us. You just got out of the car. Congratulations. How are you feeling?
Yeah, feeling good. I had people just in the front, so I can adjust the gap. And yeah, I did my best lap in the, not in the last lap, but just before. And yeah, no mistake, no track limit. So it's just what we wanted. So yeah, the job is done. And now we look forward to the race, and we will see what's happened in the race.
Yeah. That time of 1:25.597, was that faster or not than your practice runs just now?
No, I think it's slower, but anyway, it's just quali. Maybe the temperature is hotter or something like that. And but the gap with the Orica and the Ligier is really close, so we have to manage the tires and for the race, because it's a long race. It's a 6-hour race, and so we will see the result.
A great way to be starting tomorrow. I guess hoping to defend the win from the last round, right?
Yeah, we will defend the win for sure.
All the best tomorrow and congratulations again. That was it from Thomas Laurent. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Nadia. Now, Graham, you know what? He's such a cool, calm, collected character, even for someone who's literally just turned 20. But I was really hoping he was going to say something about this battle he's having with Pippo. He didn't, of course. He went straight on and was looking forward to the race now. Nice, easy session for him.
He's cooler than a deep frozen cucumber, isn't he, the boy? He really is the whole package. And yeah, it's exactly what I've expected of him. But you could just see there's something there, the mischief in his eye. He enjoyed that.
Yeah.
And you know what? Much as Pippo wouldn't have enjoyed the result of that, he'd have enjoyed that too. They do look for the challenge. The way this works for them is they're going around with a delta time on the timing screens in their dashboard. They know where they stand against their previous time, and they probably know as well from the pits just exactly what they need to do to actually overhaul the target ahead. The problem, of course, for them is it's always a moving target.
Yes.
If you've actually got someone who's attacking a session, as Thomas Laurent was there, then by the time you've actually reached the level he's reached on the previous lap, he's done better. And that was a classic endurance race qualifying session. Great stuff from both of those teams, and great stuff too, by the way, from Jasmine Jafar. Deserves a great deal of credit for keeping in the hunt there. What he didn't have was the consistency of improvements that the two guys ahead, but there's less experience in the car so far for Jasmine. We're going to see him, of course, this race for 6 hours tomorrow, and for a further 4 on home ground, and that's going to be really interesting.
And of course, a word out for Gustavo Jacquemin as well in his first race, finishing 4th. As we just have to take a quick look at the next qualifying session that's going to be coming up soon, which is the GT class. But Gustavo coming in 4th, not bad.
No, not at all. Absolutely. Well, Gustavo Jacquemin is a quality act behind the wheel of a sports car. He's got race-winning form in 2017 in LMP2 and the newer versions of that. You know, he's an established star. Well, I think we've got more stars to come from the Asian Le Mans series. Included in that is going to be, without a shadow of a doubt, the pole position man we've actually got in LMP3 with the KCMG guys. That number 18 car has been right on the pace all the way through the season. And I think we've got Nadia down in pit lane with Josh Burton right now.
The fastest car for the LMP3 class, car number 18, Josh Burden. How are you feeling? I'm sure you're happy.
Yeah, I'm feeling really happy. Pole position, we're lucky. That's 3 out of 3 for us so far in this championship. So once again, we're off to a good start to the weekend. 6 hours tomorrow. We look forward to a good result. We want to take over this championship lead after a few problems at Fuji. So I'm really excited.
Right. Problems in Fuji. So hopefully you can redeem that now. The car's all fixed? All good?
Yeah, everything's all good. Practice went to plan. We got through what we wanted to get through. Everything at the moment says everything's couldn't be better. So let's see tomorrow after 6 hours.
Exactly. So you said 6 hours. We've been seeing 4 hours before this, so 2 hours extra. Any kind of different way of approaching that?
I think it's going to be the same. Just an extra 2 hours. We might have to pace ourselves a little bit more, look after the car a little bit at the beginning and tires. But apart from that, all the basics will still be the same. We might just chop and change, and we'll discuss that tonight.
Right. Discussion will happen tonight. So all the best tomorrow, and congrats on that pole position.
Thank you.
You heard it from the man. Back to you guys.
Yeah, Josh Burton found his smile this season. There is the new look to the FIST AI Ferrari. That's a great-looking livery on that car.
Well, as I said earlier in the day, actually, I said it to the FIS team mechanics as well. You could paint that car pink and it's still going to look
that does look a really good livery. And this one does too, the gold and kind of chrome green Tianqi number 66 Audi R8 LMS. We'll wait and see what we see as the cars actually emerge. At the moment, it looks like it may well be Ollie Milroy to actually bring this car out. That's not what we're expecting.
We were expecting Marco Ciocci, who had a great run out in Fuji as well. And let's not forget that this Ferrari 488 GT3 had such an amazing run at Fuji and showed its reliability, it showed its speed going into corners, it showed its straight line speed, and we're expecting it to do very, very well. And what we found out this morning, both Graham and myself, is that this car has actually only been tested once before it made that wonderful performance.
Brand new car this season. Green flag for the session, and we can see the Ferrari making its way down through turn 2. Turn 2 is basically just a kink on that long straight, and then into turn 3. It is indeed Ollie Milroy at the wheel of the number 90 car. Tianqi Racing's Audi also out there with Max Visa. We'll have a chat in a moment about the number 77 car we'll see very soon. The GT Cup Porsche Team New Zealand, Team NZ.
Back in the Asian Le Mans Series, John Curran, Graham Dowsett, and Will Bamber, the three
and it's John Curran aboard that car. I'd have expected Will Bamber, but they're not really attacking this session. They, of course, are the only car in the GT Cup class. They'll be attacking the race. Their races with the clock, and to get to the end of 6 hours. Classic endurance racers, the Team NZ guys, and very successful at it around the Asia-Pacific region. In this car with some heritage. Here it is, the number 77 car. Just one more race in its career, we're told. But this is the ex-Earl Bamber Carrera Cup Asia winning car.
It has its history, it has its pedigree. And just when you said that, it was just the last race, I have to admit, there was a little bit of pain. It's pain in the heart. This is such a beautiful car. It's a beautiful chassis. It's been around for so long, and it's got its history to it.
And it's served this team extremely well. I believe only 2 DNFs in its career.
Wow.
Which is amazing stuff. And Porsche 911 GT3 Cup, a cracking package for endurance racing. With the endurance package, a bigger tank than you'll see in one-make racing. And, this is a reasonably elderly car. Doesn't look it, does it? Looks almost brand new.
Yeah.
The guys do well with it.
Has a lot. And so Will Bamber, the younger brother of Earl Bamber, both Bamber brothers from New Zealand, and really this team with some good pedigree in it, and it's good to see them back on track as they come into the turn 12, back onto the home straight, and this is going to be full speed, and that is the Tianqi Racing Audi R8. Now this car has had a very, very colourful Asian Le Mans Series 2017-2018 season. We've seen it go off, we've seen it have some reliability problems. We've also seen it get into some great scraps with FIS Team AI in both Fuji and Zhuhai before that happened.
And they're showing just some signs that actually there's some real fire in the belly here.
Yes.
I don't think this is going to be a pushover for the FIS Team AI guys. By the way, we've not yet seen the number 91 BMW out on track.
That's right, it's about 3 minutes into the session, but we did also notice that they did this in Fuji as well. They came out late for about 5 minutes. And so this is going to give some clear air for the Tianqi Racing team. Max Weezer, talking to him beforehand, and he was really looking forward to getting out there.
66 car, great looking car. It's very much a learning year for this team. They've got ambitions moving forward, but to commit to a full season of the Asian Le Mans Series, that's a big leap for them.
Yeah.
And they've done so with some spirit. They've been right in there where they've had the opportunity to do so. Team learning as they go. Car always immaculately presented.
That is a beautiful car. Now, we've already got our first times in the Ferrari 488 from FIS Team AI with a 1:35.874. That was very fast from Ollie Milroy. Now, looking, of course, with the prototypes, with the LMP2s and LMP3s, with their, impressive downforce, impressive speed, thrust, torque, the whole lot, you kind of know what they're going to do. They point and shoot. Now, with these cars, these GT cars, of course, each of them are going to respond differently to different tracks. Now,
very much so.
How much of an impact is, for example, the Ferrari and the BMW M6 going to have on a track like Buriram?
Well, certainly the Ferrari, known to be highly advanced in terms of aero. Effectively, those viewers are actually more familiar with the screaming Ferrari 458 of recent years.
Yeah.
This is a very different beast. It may look very similar, but it's not just the power plant, the twin turbocharged V8.
It's the Aero.
It's the Aero. Effectively, I remember being told in the very early days of this car, we got the BMW on pit lane, but the car very different under the skin. It's the Aero, and here is the BMW.
Now, of course, there was a question as to whether it was going to be Chas Mostert or Jesse Krohn.
Looks like Jesse Krohn.
Looks like Jesse Krohn?
I think it was Jesse Krohn.
Well, both of them very, very fast, and both of them have been putting in some great performances. Now, of course, with a long bonnet chassis like this, how's the BMW going to perform on this?
Well, it remains to be seen, doesn't it? It does tend to be a bit of a Marmite car, the BMW. Either is crushingly effective or seemingly just not quite in the game. It remains to be seen. And Team AAI, you know, Team AAI have had really that enough practice at this game not to show their hand until they absolutely have to. I think we're going to see that car emerge any moment now. Visa, by the way, has gone to the top of timing and scoring. The Audi has gone to pole position with a 1:33.701. It may be just about to be leapfrogged again by Ollie Milroy. He's just about a 10th back. So another session with just a 10th between the two cars at the top of the timing and scoring sheets.
Well, both of them on 3 laps now. You'd expect in this warm weather that their tyres should be warm enough to put in a blinder?
Oh, now's the time. And we'll wait and see what's going to happen here with this BMW. Still, so far, has not joined this session. Just 9 minutes to go of this 15-minute session. I think it's just going to be a blast for the flag for 2 or 3 laps of this BMW. Now it leaves and it is Jesse Krohn at the wheel of the BMW. There's the BMW in the background now, behind the Porsche.
You just see it. It is a monster of a car. It's just, it's bigger. It's heavier. But it really does throw itself around.
I'm actually quite surprised they chose that moment to release the car, because Jesse Krohn is going to get up to speed, and that Porsche is going to be in the way.
Yeah. Porsche is currently lapping at 1:46.305 for Team NZ.
That's 13 seconds slower than the current pole position car, which, by the way, goes back to Ollie Milroy now. Again, bizarrely, by a 10th. It's 0.117.
Well, I do actually have to just inform you that Race Control has actually deleted that 1:47 lap by Team NZ for track limit abuse at turn 12. That's the turn leading into the home straight. So they're going to have to reset that. Their last was 1:46.305. So hopefully you can stay within the white lines. That's what it's all about on every track for the Asian Le Mans Series. It is not as easy as you think when you're pushing the car, though.
As things stand right at the moment, we have 7 minutes 44 seconds to go. The gap between the first and second place cars in GT is 0.117 of a second. After the 15-minute session for the LMP cars, the gap between the top 3 LMP2 cars was 0.116.
So, do you think they're planning this, Graham?
I think it's strategy. Oh no, BMW straight back into the pits.
Now that was just 1 lap, if I'm right, or maybe 2 laps max for that BMW
one lap,
M6.
it was his outlap.
So really, there must be a serious problem with that BMW M6.
Maybe.
Possibly.
Maybe there might be something to do. But let's have a look at what happens here. They're fueling the car. They're changing tyres. They're changing tyres.
That seems kind of odd if you've just come out for 1 lap, but remember, this is just a 15-minute window.
And the Ferrari's coming in too. The Ferrari is also coming in.
Now, you've got to remember that at this Buriram International Circuit, it has a very, very long pit lane indeed. So if you're going to make your way into the pits, of course, this is going to cause different situations during the 6-hour race, which we will talk about tomorrow. But right now, if you get in the pits for your 15-minute qualifying session, then really you need to get out of there as soon as possible.
This is strategy. That's, I think, from the Ferrari's point of view, they're putting a second set of tyres on. Look like used tyres to me. And here comes the BMW. I'm not sure what they were doing there, but I would imagine this is going to be the run for pole from the BMW. Back to pole position, though, goes the Audi. It's gone through with a 1:33.070. Now they're going to have to be chased down by the AI cars. There are just 6 minutes to go. That's going to give them, what, probably 3 flying laps maximum to be able to have a crack at the advantage now of the Tianchi Racing Audi of Massimiliano Visa. It's got a half a second in hand over the best that Ollie Milroy managed in this car, the number 90 Ferrari. Team NZ not in the battle, of course, for pole position, but the AAI 91 BMW might be, but Hesse Krohn is going to have to pull it out the bag right now.
Right now, literally with 5 minutes left, he's going to get a couple of laps in, and he has proved, of course, in the previous 2 rounds that he can do it, but this Ferrari, you've got to say, has a very, very good chance of cutting that 0.5 seconds down.
And Max Visa, by the way, I think is going to improve again if he continues through. He's
going
going faster. He's got another, Sector 2 is another purple sector. He is pushing hard here. They sniff the opportunity, the chance, the maybe, the possibility of an opportunity. And at 133.070 becomes...
Well, this would be...
a 132.893, so he extends his advantage to 0.7 of a second now. Well done, Max Visa. Whatever happens right now, he's the hero in their garage this evening.
Absolutely, 6 laps in, and this is a really good boost for the Tianchi Racing team. We were just talking about some of the issues that they've had in the past couple of races, while putting in some good performances as well. So to really top the GT class in qualifying is going to give them a huge psychological boost. We just heard from Josh Burton in the pits talking to Nadia about how a lot of the strategies and decisions that are going to be made tonight after qualifying, once these drivers have been out. And I'm sure that if Max Visa can finish up on top, that's going to be a very happy pit indeed.
Only one car has gone faster thus far in this meeting than the time that the 66 cars put in, and it was the BMW in free practice 2, put in a 32.486, a 4/10 quicker than the Audi has actually so far managed. But that was, of course, in free practice with longer running. Let's see what can be done. Porsche not at speed here.
No, not at all. But they've already logged in. John Curran's already logged in a 1:46.877, but did seem there to be running a lot slower than you'd expect. Now, this is the car that we're still waiting for a good lap from. The last lap was logged at 2:40. That's not going to be cutting it, so really...
Now's the time.
Now's the time to throw it in.
So he's got it's either this lap or the next, and indeed, Sector 2 goes purple for Hesse Krohn. This is a good one from them. Let's wait and see what happens in the longer third sector. But 1:32.893 is the target for Hesse Krohn. 1:33.584 is his teammate's time for second position. I think he's going to be certainly quicker than the Ferrari with this lap. Can he be quicker to Max Visa in the number 66 Tianchi Racing Audi R8 LMS? He comes round now, the final turn, powers down towards the line, that big V8 twin turbocharged engine under the hood of the M6 GT3, and he goes to the top, a 1:32.206.
Fantastic performance from FIS Team AI again, literally right at the death. This has been a classic GT qualifying session.
Absolutely great stuff from there. Max Visa not done though. He's gone quicker in Sector 1 than he's gone before, so that would have been a purple sector for the Audi. And by the way, Hesse Krohn not done yet either. There's work now to do for Ollie Milroy. Because the gap between first and second, and the gap between second and third, pretty equidistant. It's just under 0.7 of a second between first and second. It's a similar gap, almost a thousandth between second and third. It's now about, can Ollie Milroy make it an all FIS Team AI front row? Because no doubt in my mind, Max Visa has got his dander up and is looking for the opportunity here to, at the very least, maintain a GT class front row start.
Well, as we said, it would be very important for the Tianchi Racing team if they can do it. 2 minutes left in qualifying. Now, remember that it is now 8 laps for Max Visa in that Tianchi Racing team. It's 7 laps for Ollie Milroy in the Ferrari. Just 3 laps for Hesse Krohn.
And Visa has improved. He's not challenged, ultimately, Hesse Krohn's time, but he has extended his advantage over the Ferrari. It's a 1:32.730, so he's half a second back from the best time of this man, Hesse Krohn, who is going to improve again, by the way. 1:32.206 is going to become, in a few moments' time, a 31.721. That's a big difference.
I love the way you predict those things.
It's a full second now ahead, full second and change ahead of the Tianchi Racing team. Meantime, further improvements in sector times from the Audi. No improvement at the time at the moment for Ollie Milroy. He's struggling to make, but he has improved his time, and he's improved his time with just a spectacular third sector to just a quarter of a second, and we are now with 55 seconds to go. It's this lap for Ollie Milroy. It's the lap that Tianchi Racing are on, and possibly, probably, one more to determine who is going to be second on this grid or better. And all of a sudden, the Ferrari's timing screen is lighting up. The last sector one for the Ferrari goes purple. He's going for pole on this one. It's a purple sector for the number 90 car. Through comes Max Visa. It's a 1:32.730 last time. He doesn't improve, and he has got time to go around again with 21 seconds on the clock. One more go for him. This will be the final lap, meanwhile, for FIS Team AAI.
Last chance saloon now for Max Visa in that Tianchi Racing team. It's been a good performance for him. Probably, I mean, Ollie Milroy is going to have to really wonder. He was leading.
It's a purple sector one. It's a green sector two for Ollie Milroy. It's still on here, but it's going to have to be a very good third sector. He had an excellent third sector last time around, but it's got to be perfect.
Oh, this really would be sensational news if this Ferrari from FIS Team AI can just... Here he comes.
There's a checkered flag. He needs to make up a quarter of a second to get second place. Is he going to manage better than that? He doesn't manage better than that. He manages just that. He pits the Audi to the flag by 45 thousandths of a second, but he does secure an AAI front row right at the death. So both the AAI cars have completed their laps. Max Visa, meanwhile, is still out there and is still pushing. He could still snatch this back.
Well, that would be unbelievable. We did see this BMW M6 after they set that very fast time, that 1:32, just slowed down around the track, and they took it very easy after that. And now, as you can see, that Jesse Krohn out of the car, but here it is. This is what we're looking for. We're looking for a very fast sector here.
Audi goes through, and he doesn't improve. He doesn't improve despite two green sectors. It's not enough for Max Visa. He does improve. It's 1/1000th of a second. It's 1/1000th of a second.
Absolutely incredible stuff from the GT class.
Well, so it's half. Let's just go back through this. It's that Jesse Krohn has taken pole position in the GT class, the number 91 FIS Team AI. No, he hasn't. What's happened there?
Well, we're just getting, I mean, these laps have been so fast that have been coming through, and in literally on the last lap,
he's lost.
It looks like Ollie Milroy has come through.
No, it's not. What's happened is that Jesse Krohn has had laps deleted for track limits.
Right.
Ollie Milroy is the pole position car.
By default, that Ferrari 488 GT3, I mean, it couldn't get more sensational than that. That could be why the Ollie Milroy was taking it so slow.
By 1/1000th of a second.
Well, if anyone said that there was, you know, little excitement in these GT qualifying sessions, it doesn't get more exciting than that. As both the cars line up in the pits, that is fantastic stuff. And once again, the Ferrari, you could say, through the session, was looking really good to start off with, but then was beaten hands down for absolute power. But if you're abusing track limits, then those laps have to be deleted.
It looks to me as if he had at least 2 laps deleted for track limits. At least 2. So Ollie Milroy comes through. He may not yet know he's on pole position.
Now, we have also heard that the Team NZ, Porsche 997 and that BMW M6 have been asked immediately to go to scrutineering as well. So I wonder what race control has seen that we haven't, that of course we've been informed about.
It may be just the regular kind of routine checks, but well, after all of that, it is FIS Team AI on pole position, but it's not the BMW. It is the Ferrari 488 of Ollie Milroy, 1:32.685. Alongside him on that front row in GT is the Tianchi Racing number 66 Audi R8 LMS of Max Visa, 1:32.686. 1/1000th of a second is the difference between the two.
That's unbelievable. That's literally...
Now, we said, Ivan, in the free practice sessions, we already said this, of course, we've had 2 occasions in the last 24 hours where we've had 2 cars on exactly the same time. And I'm pretty certain that Audi was involved in one of those tussles. to the 1,000th on the same time as one of the AI cars.
Well,
this time is just lost out. They'll be gutted about that.
They will be, but I think they'll also be very happy that, because of course FIS Team AI have been putting in a good 1-2 performance for a lot of the races. For Chanchi to start on the front row of the GT class, they're going to be happy, but you're right. To be that close, 1,000th of a second off from the pole, then that's definitely going to be, should we say, a point of discussion tonight, which they're going to have a chat about.
Well, in the sporting way in which the endurance racing is conducted, I'm absolutely certain that there will be a good degree of mock anger being directed at Max Wiese.
Mock anger.
But that was actually a cracking
it was brilliant.
display from Max Wiese.
It was absolutely fantastic. And once again, we were talking about how each of these different GT cars is going to actually perform on this track. Well, I think we just saw that just now. Ollie Milroy with BMW M6, that heavier car, of course, being pushed around. Maybe that was the reason.
Well, let's wait and see what happens. But the nimble Ferrari is the car that looked as if it might well actually be the class of the field here. It's proven to be the case, although in rather odd circumstances. And we're going to be down in pit lane hearing from Ollie Milroy what he knows, what he doesn't know, and how that all happened down in pit lane with Nadia now.
Oh yes, not without its drama. We've got Ollie Milroy. So, how are you feeling?
Yeah, really good, really good. I'm obviously really looking forward to the race tomorrow because we know that our race pace is really good. I think it's even stronger than our qualifying pace. So, starting from pole is good news. It was a fun session. It's the first time I've even driven the Ferrari in those conditions, on low fuel and new tyres. So it was all a bit of a learning curve, especially on the first set of tyres. But it was really fun. Yeah, it was good. The car was great.
Now, the car was great. Everything looks to be fine. But did you get the news about you making pole, like, while you were still in the car when you got out?
No, as I got out the car. I thought second, that's all right. You know, we'll be all right. But then as I got out the car, obviously the guys told me that the lap time of the BMW had been disallowed because of track limits. So, yeah, it's good news. It's part of the game. You know, we've all got the same rules. It is frustrating for us sometimes. You make a little mistake and you run wide, and get penalised for it. But, you know, rules are there, and yeah, exactly. There's got to be a line somewhere, isn't there? You know, and so yeah, it's good news for us.
It's good news for you, of course. So all the best tomorrow, and congrats, I guess, on the pole position.
Thank you.
That was Ollie Milroy. Back to you guys in commentary.
Thanks, Nadia. And as you were saying, Graham, an emotional time. The word frustrating came up there when Ollie was talking as well. It must have been pretty emotional for them.
Yeah, and I could see the look on his face. He's delighted. And I can tell you right now, Hesse Krohn will be getting his leg pulled tonight. There will be an awful lot of fun at his expense. I'm absolutely certain of that. Track limits, jokes aplenty to come. Ollie Milroy was delighted with that end result and pushed hard to get it. Cracking stuff from all three of the GT cars involved in that session. All topped the times at various points, and everybody close in with a really great 15 minutes of action there.
Yeah, and as you can see, the weather's been holding up as well, and hopefully this is going to be the case here in beautiful Thailand for the 6 hours that happens tomorrow as well. Now, what is going to happen in the GT class? What's going to happen in the LMP2, LMP3? There's a lot of permutations that could happen when you multiply it from a 15-minute qualifying session to a 6-hour race.
I'm going to tell you exactly what's going to happen tomorrow.
I know you're going to know as well.
Action. That's what's going to happen tomorrow. 6 hours of action. It's going to be close. We've seen that already. We've seen it through free practice. We've seen it again in both of these qualifying sessions. Fabulous setting here at the Buriram International Circuit. We are going to be looking for a major crowd tomorrow on Children's Day here in Thailand. And before we get to that, we're going to be looking back at highlights of those two 15-minute qualifying sessions. Open, the number 7 Jackie Chan DC Racing by Jota Car is the first away. And followed by Viper Nisa in the 65. Weather forecasts have not been anywhere close to correct this week.
Absolutely. Now remember, the last round, of course, was in the freezing conditions.
Putting the number 4 ARC Bratislava car up into 4th position. So
over the space of this weekend, which we'll get to during race time, because literally we haven't got the time. We've 7 minutes left with the qualifying.
And you know what? I doubt there's going to be a cigarette paper.
Chan DC Racing pit, watching that screen eagerly. They know how important it's going to be.
It just takes some time to unlock the potential.
Right.
And we're seeing that time and time and time again. And you know, in that vein, I'm sure 0.116 per second between the top three. Get back up into second, getting around that damage very quickly indeed. number 25 car.
Now, there is,
as
as
I
you
say
were just saying about the Algarve Pro Racing, well, that looks like they're going to have a bit of problem there because these faster corners, and it looks like Win Motorsports, Richard Bradley is actually being
for track limits, which means there'll be no improvement on the final lap for the number 7 car. It looks from the sector times we're looking at that we're not going to see significant improvements. And the third place car in that session, Jackie Chan TC Racing's second car,
at Fuji, and showed its reliability, it showed its speed going into corners, it showed its straight line speed, and we're expecting it to do very, very well. And what we found out this morning, both Graham 8.74, that was very fast from Ollie Milroy. Now looking...
known to be highly advanced in terms of aerial sector, he is pushing hard here. They sniff the opportunity, the chance to go around again with 21 seconds on the clock. One more go for him. This will be...
These drivers have been out, and I'm sure that if Max that we're still waiting for a good lap from him. It's
what happens in the longer third sector, but 1:32.893 is the target in the GT class, the number 91 FIS team AI. No, is that Hesse Krohn has had laps deleted for track limits.
Right.
Ollie Milroy is the...
Again, the Ferrari, you could say, through the session, was looking really good to start off with, but then was beaten hands down for absolute power. Fantastic look back at some of the key highlights of what happened in that qualifying session, both for the LMP2, LMP3, and GT classes. And Graham, what a day of qualifying it's been.
Really, really close in all three classes. Real action, real potential for 6 hours of action to come tomorrow.
Yep, that's right. So that brings us to the end of the qualifying session, and we will be back with the 6 hours of Buriram tomorrow. Be here with everybody else, and there's going to be thousands of people here. For now, it is goodbye from the commentary box, and we will see you tomorrow.